You are now tuned into Club Therapy with Emily Chan.
So, how do you go from promoting and working at a club to creating not one but two successful businesses? So, it can be difficult to create a name for yourself in an oversaturated space, but our guest and my close friend, Ajaya, aka Ajuki, has done it, and she's done it so well. So, I want to say welcome back to Club Therapy. I missed you guys, and I hope you missed me. Hey, we're waving. Hey, hi, camera. I was going to say it's such a pleasure and treat to chat with a dear friend and former coworker of mine and former idol of mine, may I say, from the Tumblr days.
That's so sweet.
Of course.
Thank you. I was going to say, that is such a nice intro.
Are you gassed right now?
Yeah, I was like flustered. That was so nice.
Well, it's so true. It's so
Thank you.
true. It's such a pleasure knowing you for, like, how long have we known each other for? Like 8, maybe 9 years now?
Has it been that long?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since Citizen.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny because I never know how long Citizen was. This is the restaurant that used to be
That
on
we
King
worked
Street.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always think it was like 2 years ago, but you're right. It was probably like
8 or
years.
9 years. Yeah, because I think I moved to Toronto about 10 years ago, and then I started working at Citizen like a year or two after that. And then that's how we officially met. But before that, I was following you on Tumblr.
I didn't know that.
Wait, I swear I've told you this before.
No, because
I
I
was
felt
following
like
you on Tumblr.
No, because I felt like my impression of you is that you're coming from somewhere else.
True.
Which you were. So it's like you didn't know anything, or like Toronto, or I was like, oh, it's just my friend from Vancouver.
But not to be creepy, I did.
That's
I actually knew who you were from before. Like, I think I followed you on Tumblr in high school when I was in like maybe grade 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was going to come to Toronto. And so I was following you and I was like, oh, like she's posting like these cool events because you're promoting at all these cool events. And yeah, you're kind of one of Toronto's OG it girls, may I say.
I tried, and I still try.
And you still try. And
Yes.
you're still doing it. And you're still
Yes.
doing it. But yeah, not to be creepy, but I remember I like knew you for maybe like, I knew of you for like maybe a year or two before we actually met, maybe 2 or 3 years. And then I met you and it was just like, I feel like fate just kind of brought us together. My very first shift at Citizen, I was like, I know this bitch.
Oh, that's so nice.
And you're training me. I think you trained me at Citizen, you and Jenna.
Oh my God, I don't even remember like all of the days. I just remember good memories. And I also remember out of all of the hostesses, like you were one of my favorites. So I was like, okay, I love it.
Well, thank you.
Those are fun times, definitely.
Yeah. I miss that. I feel like that was like kind of like the golden age of like King Street, I must say. Like when we were at Citizen. Yeah, it's changed a little bit now.
Yes.
It's myth
now, when I walk on King Street, I'm like, where am I? Who are these people?
this?
Yeah, like
What are these places?
Yeah, what are these places? A big one. And I, for a while, I felt like King Street stayed the same, and then like it just after
Changed
the
all of a
pandemic,
sudden.
very much different.
It's so different.
Yeah.
And now Citizen is now myth.
Yes.
Just so you guys know, all the young kids out there. Citizen used to be a 25 plus club. Do you remember that? Yeah, it actually was.
Was it?
Yes, it actually was, technically, right? I remember it. And I remember when we were like, I was literally like 19, 20 working there.
Yeah.
We had a crazy manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love him.
Love him. Miss him.
Miss him.
He was insane. He used to try to party with like all of the
hostesses.
all the like the 20-year-olds.
That's
he was
so
crazy.
Funny. It's funny because I do remember it being 25 plus only because we were so young that we were like, oh my God, 25 is so old. Yeah.
It felt so old. And then you hit
Now-
25 and you're like, oh, it's actually not like your life's just starting, really.
Literally a baby. Like I still
Literally
feel
a
like a
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Me too. I still feel like deep down 19.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I get married, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a child bride. Like, that's going to be crazy.
You're like, I can't do that. I can't do that. No. But yeah, I wanted to kind of just like tell the audience like a little bit and like, I guess tell the listeners like a little bit more about who you are and like what you do. Just to tell you guys a bit more about Ajaya, she's a founder, or she is the founder of 2 amazing community initiatives, FOMO. You guys, I don't know if you guys have heard of FOMO before, but FOMO is a platform that creates BIPOC queer-friendly spaces through art, collaboration, and conversation, and also Northound, which is a radio show that features emerging Canadian artists, including herself, right? She's an artist too. She does it all. Today, I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about your mental health, like going through so many different phases of your life. Like you've gone through, I feel like you've lived so many lives in like the last decade, and you've done so many different things. And so just like kind of to start, like where was your mental health at? Like when you were promoting, Jaya was also one of Toronto's top promoters, I must say, back in the day. Yeah. So how was your mental health like around that point of your life? When you were promoting, going out all the time, how was it?
I think that my mental health it's always been a journey. And I think that there's always been like highs and lows. And I don't want to say that like it was so much worse or so much better, because now to this day I still have those highs and lows. But it was definitely a lot. I feel like I was more chaotic and I was making more chaotic life decisions.
Yes.
So therefore my mental health was just a little bit worse.
Absolutely.
But I've always dealt with depression and anxiety as a kid, and I can remember feeling those emotions but not being able to like identify what that is or know how to word what that is.
I feel like it's because like in the like I feel like mental health is being more talked about now in like schools and everything, but when we were kind of growing up, like there was no really conversation about like mental health, and I feel like even going to things like therapy like was kind of bad. Like therapy was like a bad thing. If you were in therapy, like something was wrong with you, or if you were on medication, like something was wrong with you. Whereas now I feel like most people are on, maybe not most people are on medication, but a lot more people are on medication.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. I feel
most
like
people are in therapy.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of, I don't want to say the majority because maybe that's not true, but
it's hard to know exactly
right.
How much.
And maybe it's like depends on, I don't want to say maybe it's the industry, right? The industry we're in, that the people that we talk to.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends and people in my community are on medication. So
yeah, it's so different now.
Yeah.
But I think that's like such a good point though. It's like kind of like when we were younger, like we didn't really know like how to name like what we were feeling.
Exactly.
How did you, what was it that kind of made you identify like, okay, like, or helped you identify like, okay, like this is depression, like maybe this is anxiety?
Yeah. So I think after I started, I would say like I had a really hard time in high school. And it's interesting now because when I reflect back on high school or I run into people from high school, it's kind of like we had no idea. And I'm always like, really? Because like I just felt just really rough.
Like I had an idea.
Yeah,
I was going through it.
Exactly. I was going through it. And super rough time in high school. And then after that, honestly, it was my loved ones just kind of realizing like something's up. I think it was family members. Yeah, it was parents. And through that, it was me actually going to, what did I start doing? I think at first, like I don't want to say that I was like an angsty teenager, but I was an angsty teenager because I had a lot of underlying situations.
We were on Tumblr at that time. Like, I don't know, something about that era. You know what I mean? It just, it fostered angsty teenagers.
Exactly. And then through that, the situation was me and my mom wanted to do like counseling. That was her first idea of like how to get help for me. I did not want to open up in counseling at all, but I think through that, once she left the room, like we were doing joint counseling, and then once she left, and then once she left the room, I kind of can open up a little bit more. And I think it just started through conversation. It was really just me just saying like, I feel like this, like blah, blah, blah. And it was that counselor helping me work through that. And
oh, that's so great.
Right. And then funny enough, when the idea of like mental health popped into my head, I became very curious about it naturally. And I started just like Googling things, which I don't know if I recommend, but I started,
I know, can go downhill really quickly.
I started Googling things. I was on social media a lot already. And a girl on Facebook posted about having borderline personality disorder.
Oh,
and
that's how you heard about BPD.
Yes, this is how I heard about BPD. And I was really interested, started doing all of this Googling, and I didn't want to self-diagnose, but I was like, whoa, a lot of these things I feel like I can relate to. And I brought this idea up to whatever that counselor I can't even remember who it was at the time, that counselor. And then like they started the conversation with like other therapists and blah, blah, blah. And then I got like a proper diagnosis.
Love that.
But then from there, that's when I just wanted to like take my mental health a little bit more seriously. I don't know if I was making the right choices to take that seriously, but I was at least like advocating for myself on social media just because it felt like a release. And it also felt like, I don't know, I was looking for connection as well. So it stemmed from that too.
For sure. Because I feel like you have been such a big advocate for mental health, like on all of your pages. And I feel like that, like, would you say that's something that kind of guides like some of the things that you do, like when it comes to business and stuff like that? Is it like mental health focused?
Yeah, I think.
It's like, or do you consider it kind of?
Yeah,
like, when
I
you're
think
doing
I consider it. I considered it a lot more before. And I think now more so I consider my mental health a lot more in the process. Because before I was thinking so much about others, like, let's do this event, this event, this event. And then now it's like, okay, I don't have the capacity for that, or I don't have the capacity for all these ideas. So like, let's take it back a little bit.
It's so important to set those boundaries for yourself.
And then I also don't want to be, I don't know, it's also hard too, because I've gotten backlash for sharing stuff about social media and also social media about mental health but then also I'm still a human being. So it's also
People forget,
and they're like, but aren't you a like mental health advocate? Like you can't
just a
do
girl.
this. Exactly. I'm just a girl. Like, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I feel like social media, especially like I feel like you are so outspoken on social media, which is something like I love about you. You know what I mean? You speak your truth and you don't really give a fuck. Right? Like,
yeah. I try.
Or like, I mean, like you do and you don't.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But do you feel like social media has had like a big impact on your mental health in the past? Do you think it still does? Does it get to you and like you lose, I don't know, followers, or if you have someone that's like arguing with you in your comments or responding to your stories and just being kind of mean?
I think definitely. Before we were talking about that 25, like before your like frontal lobe develops, yes. I feel like I was chronically online. I feel like I don't want to say that I didn't care, but everybody cares. Like you do. How could you not? Yeah. But I think those comments did get to me about at times. And like, I'm not one to back down from a fight as well as an Aries queen. So I was very feisty. Like, and that's the thing. I think you're getting backlash. You're also trying to be a mental health advocate, but I'm also a human being who might tell someone to fuck off.
Absolutely.
And then it's turned into, oh, but you're a mental health advocate and you can't do this X, Y, and Z. And I think that's why I actually winded that back and like stopped sharing on social media
as much.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how do you take care of yourself like after that happens? Like I know for me, when I have like, I don't know, when I have a bad day or just like, yeah, like I feel impacted by something, especially like on social media, especially on Instagram, it's hard not to be impacted. Like sometimes I'll have random DMs that'll be kind of mean. I'll have like a random anonymous comment or a random account like commenting something on like one of my TikToks, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, like what I normally do is I talk to my boyfriend about it. I get it out. I externalize it a little bit. I try to like put the whole thing into perspective. I feel like the more you put yourself out there, the more you are opening yourself up to like hate or like just negativity.
Exactly.
But I think also taking a bit of a break sometimes and after for like a couple of days. That's normally what I try to do. It doesn't happen as often, but I'm worried. Like I'm like now, like I'm kind of putting myself out there so much more. And I'm just worried that, you know what I mean? I'm worried that I'm going to get, I don't know, a bit more hate. I'm worried someone's going to be mean, try to cancel me.
Yeah.
I don't know if my self-esteem can deal with that right
You know what's so interesting is that I've never taken a break from social media.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never taken a break?
And like that feels crazy. I'm like, am I addicted? But yeah, like now that you say that, like, yeah, I've probably been online since like 14, 13. But yeah, through then I've never taken a break. Like even going through like breakups or like social rants or like just bad posts or like embarrassing myself. Like I've never taken a break, and I probably should have. Yeah, but I probably should have taken some breaks.
Like maybe like a week off or something.
But no, see, and I wish that like I had advice like that, because it sounds so silly, but like taking a break from anything that is like causing you mental distress is actually like what you need to do.
So necessary, but so much easier said than done. Like I feel like in the moment we don't think to do those things. And it's taken so long for me to get to that point. So what do you normally do like when that's kind of impacting you? Do you like change your routine a little bit? Do you do any self-care?
I don't know if social media impacts me anymore at all.
Really?
Yeah, I think now
Skin's
just because
thick.
Well, yes, exactly. And I feel like I'm older. I'm hitting a new decade in my life.
Right.
Or entering a new decade. But I also think that what's affecting me more is just like doom scrolling. Like I'll just be doom scrolling a lot. And then I also think that we were talking a little bit, and that's why I'm so happy that you're starting this podcast. But
Thanks.
I think that I'm struggling with doing things, and instead I'm just watching, and I'm like, no, girl, like get back out there. Like you've started all these things, but then at the same time, like that lovely intro, I have to also give myself acknowledgement that like your girl, you're still doing things. Like you're still doing the thing. But
and I feel like you've accomplished so much in like the past decade. Really have become a well-known name.
Thank
Ajuki.
you.
Well, I guess like what advice would you give to like younger you when you were 20 years old, kind of just getting into the industry, like starting to like kind of promote, and like what kind of advice would you give like 20-year-old Ajaya?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like I think 20-year-old myself did a really good job. I think in terms of like not business decisions, because I don't know if I even knew that they were business decisions at the time, but more so like just like learning how to market myself or like learning how to brand myself. Like I think I did well in that. But in terms of like my mental health, just like dating the wrong people, probably like hanging out with the wrong crowds.
I've seen you with so many. I feel like I've known like most, not so many, but I feel like I've met most of your partners in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen like the very few hilarious.
I was like, no, because we've been friends, for 8 years.
For so long,
you've seen
right?
a lot. Not a lot of partners.
Not a lot, just a few.
You've
just
seen,
a few.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, and I think that I would just give myself like the advice to just love myself a little bit more. I think if I love myself a little bit more, that I would have been making better choices. And it's so interesting because I do think that I had a lot of self-love back then, but I was still 20 years old. I was still
at the end of the day.
Exactly. Still having underlying issues that were probably had to do with like trauma from bullying, trauma from like just everything,
dealing with mental health.
Exactly. And just like a lot of just like bottled up shit that I was not addressing. And I think I kind of like lied to myself about that. I think I was just like, oh, well, at least like I have knowledge about what's going on, or like I know what my diagnosis is. Like I thought that was enough, and it's not enough. Like I really had to do more work.
Absolutely. And I think that's like a really common belief with people, right? Like for so many people, it's just like awareness and acknowledgement. They're like, okay, like good enough. Like this will happen all the time, like with like people I'm talking to or people I'm working with. Like there's this one person I know who has, we won't name him, but he's a little bit older and he has like a lot of like, and this isn't a client obviously, but like he has like a lot of like childhood trauma and everything. And he's aware of it. He knows it's impacting him. In the past, he's been like quite mean to like myself and like other people around me. But he is aware that that's kind of the thing that's fueling this like bad behavior, but he's not taking any active steps to like work through it or work on it. And I feel like that's so common with like a lot of people. They know like what's happening, like they get a diagnosis for like anxiety or BPD or depression, and they're like, oh, like this is what's happening. And sometimes what can happen is people will like use it as an excuse for like certain behaviors. Yeah. Taking it like kind of like to the next step where you're like, okay, like now I actually have to like work on it, like do something about this.
Exactly.
You went from promoting, and we were working together, of course, in the industry at Citizen. How did you go from that to creating these platforms that you have and kind of finding like your niche in like a pretty, I think I said it earlier, but like oversaturated kind of space, you know?
Honestly, it's funny because I think when we started working together, I guess I was promoting already, but I think it was really very early on, and how that started was through social media and because people already were following me. So it was clubs being like, hey, do you want to promote or bring out your girlfriends and you'll have a free bottle? And then of course I'm like, yeah,
and then I show up and I'm blackout drunk. And I'm like, yeah.
But I was like, yeah, let's do it. And from there, I just realized like I've always been someone who is, I don't want to say a people pleaser, but I am a people pleaser. And I've always been someone who's pretty outgoing. And I just realized like naturally, like I don't want to say that it was easy to make friendships, because I learned at the end of the day, once you're out of the industry, you realize a lot of people aren't your friends. But it's easy for me to realize, okay, a lot of people are searching for community. And we were hostesses at the Citizen. And what I was really just doing in the club was just hosting people, right? I was just making people feel welcomed. And that goes with like the community factor. And once I was in the clubs and promoting, and I knew DJs, I felt like I knew so many people in the community. I was like, okay, well, I can do this by myself. Like, I know how to fill a room by myself. I know how to get a DJ. I know how to make a flyer. I know how to do all of these things. And I was like, why not? Like,
start my own thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And as like in the industry, I think now that there's a lot more female promoters, but 5-10 years ago, it really felt like it was just me and a few other women. And I really just ran with that as well. And it was like women and gays and they knew that they could feel safe with me as well. So I was like, oh, I can build off that. And also myself as a queer woman, I was promoting in a very, very straight space.
Right.
And I was like, this is great. This is fun. But I want to have more fun at work.
Yeah.
And I also want to like party with people that look like me, that I have similar stories to, that I can relate to. And that's how FOMO started specifically. And then how Northound started, I actually had another party called Fuego back in the day. Do you remember that?
I went to Fuego.
It was like a dance hall pop-up party.
Yeah, it was fun.
Which after COVID, I was like, okay, I don't know. I feel FOMO is important. I was like, I don't know if I feel like a real connection to Fuego. And through COVID, when we were all locked down, I really just started getting into music more. And I started listening to emerging artists, and I was like, oh, I want to support people I actually know.
Yeah.
And that's how the Northound started, with an online radio station through Key Radio. And it kind of just built. And now I do events that are like live shows through Northbound or different things like that, help artists like promote their EPs and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I feel like now I feel like people don't put their own people on. I mean,
Nobody does.
Yeah, no one does.
No.
Yeah, even like with your friends, like you'll ask them to like post something to help like promote something, and like it's hard to get like friends and family to like sometimes even like post for you and like support you.
Yeah.
But they'll so easily like, and I mean like share like a story from like Hypebeast or whatever,
Exactly.
and you're like, really?
Yeah,
Really?
and I
Not
think
little
that
me?
yeah, and it's sad because it's like, are we doing that because everyone feels like they're in competition, or like I don't know what
That could be it.
the Toronto like thing is, but
That could be it.
it's just like everyone should just support their friends. Like if you're my friend, support me. But that's another conversation.
You've always been so supportive. I feel like the way I saw you when I was younger, even though we're pretty similar, like pretty close in age, like I've actually always like, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, so confessional. I've always kind of seen you as like a bit of like a older sister kind of figure to me.
Yeah.
When I first came into the industry, oh my God, I was so sensitive. I was so sensitive. I feel like I was just so scared of everything. And I feel like being in the industry for so long really helped me build my like, kind of like, yeah, like build up my like tolerance for everything, but like I think it really helped me like build like a thick skin. But I feel like you were one of the people that really helped me do that, and I think it was really necessary. Like when I first came into the city, when I was first at Citizen, I was just like an anxious mess. Like I remember just all the time being like, are you mad at me? Like, are you upset with me? Like, did I do something wrong?
Yes, and I think that's why I had the impression of you that I was like, oh, this is Emily from Vancouver. Like, not that she doesn't know anything, but I think that's why my impression was like, oh, you don't know who I am. Not that you're supposed to, but because I was like, oh, I don't want Toronto to eat you alive.
And
like
it did
I don't
for a second.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like I came out of it. You know what I mean? And I feel like you and there's like a few other people that like helped in like a really positive way. Like you helped like teach me like how to set boundaries for myself and stuff like that. Because I saw you do that actively.
Well, thank you. It's so hard for me to take a compliment or like
I know, it's
something
kinda
good.
awkward.
I'm like, oh,
You're
my
like,
God,
oh, you too, girl, you too.
Thanks.
But it really is true.
Well, I'm glad that that was my goal, but like I feel like for me it's the same. Like I've always looked at you like as a little sister, and I've always
Right.
wanted to be like, they're not gonna get you. Like you're gonna be good.
Please
like
don't.
yes, like but just like not listen, but like I've also seen you grow a lot. Because you're right. Like now that you say that, like what you were saying, how you're always like, are you mad at me? Blah blah. Blah.
Do you remember?
Now, yeah, you were like
I
that,
was
and
like
it's so
that.
interesting though because I don't even remember that because you're not like that at all anymore.
No, thank God.
Yeah.
I honestly, that was like probably like around that time of my life. Like I would say maybe 18 to like 21 was so challenging because I just had no backbone. My best friend, Kira, tells me that, well, not anymore, but beforehand, she used to like kind of say it all the time.
you
You know,
didn't
she's
really
like,
have a backbone.
you don't have a backbone. And I'd let people like walk all over me. And in the industry, and I mean, like you let people do that, like you're kind of screwed. Like I remember I would like dread going to work. Like I just felt really nervous going to work.
But now looking back on it, are you like, was that you not having a backbone, or was that just anxiety
I
as
think
well?
it was both. Like I think it was a mixture of both. I think it was like I think it was anxiety and maybe like some self-esteem, right? I just wasn't very confident. But I feel like you, like even right when I met you, like to me, you appeared very confident. You're very assured.
That's
you
also
seem very
like what you
assured of
got to
yourself.
do though. I think you have to like put
Yeah.
on that, because I mask a lot. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely.
Like I think that, and that goes back to what I was saying about high school, and that when I run into people at high school now and I was like, oh, that was such a hard time. People are like, really? Like you were so, like, and I'm like, what? Like,
You're
what
like
are
you were
talking
Tumblr
about?
famous. Like you were like,
But I think that's
it girl,
because like
yeah.
I've always been someone to be guarded, and it's very easy to mask myself. But I feel like the same thing that you're saying I could relate to too. Like I was definitely, and that's why I was like, oh, was it anxiety? Because I'm a very anxious person. I move with a lot of anxiety.
That's why we
So,
like
yeah,
each other.
I get it. Yeah.
That's why we get along.
Anxious
we have that in
girlies.
common.
Yeah.
Anxious girlies.
But that's the thing, is that sometimes with anxiety, it's like, well, with any mental health thing, you mask, right? But like I don't think that I was trying to be like, mask, Emily, mask. But it was like, okay, like even if you are anxious or you feel away, like don't let other people know that, because they're gonna like run over you. They're gonna steamroll
And that
over
literally did
you.
happen, I think, a few times when we were working together, or during that time that we were working together. Like people would be, I think, like real, like kind of mean to me, because they're just like, oh, well, like Emily's like, she's just like a bit of a punching bag. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the weakest link. Like she'll take it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like masking is something that happens so often in the service industry because you're in the industry and you just have to like kind of put this face on. And even like with what you're doing now, right? Like you still have to like when you're doing these events and everything, you have to like go in, even if you're anxious, you got to just.
Exactly.
I do it too, even like with like as a therapist, like I will be like, I'll wake up and I'll be anxious and I'll go into a session. And I'm talking to them about anxiety, telling my clients about how they can like work on their anxiety. And I feel kind of like a bit of an imposter because I'm like, I literally, and I mean, am actively like anxious, like right in this moment, but I just have to mask. I don't think it's like the worst thing because I think it helps us like kind of get through things that we might want to or need to get through. But I think long term it can be kind of bad because then we avoid dealing with these things.
Exactly. And then it's also like when you're always masking too, you're never really relaxed, right? You're never like you never can breathe when you're so uptight about things or holding things in.
Absolutely. Well, I want to ask, like, how was when I first met you? We were going out, we were drinking, we were crazy. Do you guys remember ballet? I don't know if you guys remember. Jay was promoting at ballet. Where else were you promoting?
A lot of places. Oh God,
places.
It's like if you really want to go through it, literally everywhere. Like I was at Showtime Saturdays for a while. That's where the chicken juju era was.
Yeah,
but also just I literally was everywhere. It was like Logan Forth turned into what Cure. I used to be at Cube sometimes too. Like it was like Wildflower Thursdays. How could we forget about Wildflower? People are probably like, what? Like, what are all these places? These
total places.
But yeah, no, we were wild. We were drinking a lot.
Yeah, we were drinking a lot. Yeah. And I feel like also like at work and everything too, like everyone was, and I feel like that's pretty common, but like everyone was drinking, like maybe not all the time, but like pretty often. But I feel like we've come so far from that now. I mean, I still drink, like I would say honestly once or twice a week because of my job. I'm trying to work on it more, and I think I'm a lot healthier and have a better relationship with alcohol. As I used to black out all the time. I used to black out like once a week, like actually black out like when people to get home, like remember the night.
I'm not even trying to expose you, but like, didn't you give yourself the nickname of like Blackout M? Like,
yeah, like Blackout Emily.
That was like it was a person. It was like, are you gonna get Emily or are you gonna get Blackout Emily?
Blackout Emily.
Yeah.
And I would get Blackout Emily drunk like all the time. And I realized I think it's because I was on Accutane for so long. And so I would be drinking on my Accutane, which again, guys, don't do that. No, it's bad. But I had such a low tolerance because of that. So I just didn't really know. And I also didn't really know like what my limit was because it would change so often. Like
I was going to say, we're also young girls too, like working, not really eating that much too, right? Yeah. And then you don't know your limits. Like when you're young, you're like, yeah, I can have 10 drinks. And like, you actually can't.
And you're trying to chill with like the 30-year-old servers that are there. And like, they're like, they can drink. They can drink. But yeah, I've really tried to. I haven't blacked out in quite a while, which is good. But it's weird though to think about like where we were then and like where we're at now. Because even for yourself, like you're sober now.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. And I think that started because I was like, okay, I'm not having fun anymore. Like I'm making decisions while drunk that aren't me, but also that just have like repercussions to them. And it's just like, why? Like there's no point in this anymore. And I think that also too, it's like I was fighting being alone.
Yes.
It's hard to be alone, but as someone who was like club promoting and I was promoting maybe like 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, like I was out and then it turned into like, I don't really know how to be alone. The only thing I know how to do is be social. And while I'm going to these places and being social, what's around alcohol.
Yeah. So then you just end up drinking like 4 or 5 nights a week.
And also like I'm not paying for any alcohol as well. It's unlimited to me because I work here.
It's too accessible.
Exactly. It's accessible. And yeah, it was just like I'm drinking too much. I'm making bad decisions and I'm kind of tired of
with
myself.
The wrong people maybe.
Yeah. And also just like, I don't want to say losing myself and losing good things in my life because I don't think that, I also don't think that I was ever somebody who was addicted to alcohol, which is also like another conversation too. But I definitely was like making the wrong decisions. And I think that now when I talk about my sobriety, it's hard for me to talk about my sobriety because I sometimes don't relate to other people and they're like, oh, well, why did you...
Like other sober people?
Exactly. Why other sober people? And it's like, I say, and I don't want to invalidate anybody else's situation. I didn't stop drinking because I was addicted to alcohol, but I stopped drinking because I was making the wrong decisions. And one of those wrong decisions too is that alcohol has always gotten me very emotional. And as someone who's dealt with a lot of depression and had dealt with self-harm since high school, self-harm would happen while intoxicated. And I was like, okay, like I linked those two things. And I was like, my problem has always been, I honestly probably addicted to self-harm, like addicted to like just punishing myself, like addicted to like just not thinking I'm a great person. Like I was always just like had really bad thoughts about myself. And I think that's why when other people, that's why I can't take a compliment today, but it's why. But I was like, okay, like I really, like this is not good for me, obviously. Like I shouldn't be self-harming myself. I need to cut the alcohol. And once I cut the alcohol, it was just a lot easier to deal with those thoughts, those bad thoughts, and just like those negative thoughts.
Just alcohol is like, it's just such a like it's so normalized, especially in Toronto. Like I feel like almost everyone drinks. And I guess just in general, it's just so normalized. But it really is such a depressant, and it has such a big effect on you. Like not even like right in the moment, like when you're drinking, but like afterwards, for days after, right? Like you have that guilt. And when you make those associations like that with like alcohol and like self-harm, like afterwards, like you feel like just guilty for days.
Yeah. And that's what I would do. I'd feel anxious. And like when you didn't want to like get out of bed because you're like anxious, you just, and you feel that looming, anxiety. And I was like, I'm having a lot of this, but it's like I was having a lot of anxiety over my own decisions, and those decisions, like whether people knew about them or not, like I was like, this is just not good. Like I just need to get more control of myself. And when you're drinking, you don't have self-control. Like that's just it, right? You don't, you're no longer in control of yourself.
It's really scary. Like I honestly, the thing that made me stop blacking out was like I had like a really dark moment. I don't know if I've told you about it before.
No,
maybe I'll tell you off camera. It was a really dark moment a couple years ago. I mean, I've had so many dark moments, like blackout drunk, and I feel so lucky and grateful that like nothing too bad. Like I haven't been in any like danger per se, and like I've always made it home safe with like my phone, wallet, and keys. Thank God. Yeah. Not religious, but thank God.
Yeah.
But I had a really bad blackout a couple of years ago, and it drastically impacted like my relationship. You've been there, right? And then you have a moment like that though sometimes, and you're like, oh, like it feels so awful. You wake up the next day, you don't know what happened. And I mean, you always like you were out of control. Like you have that like kind of pit in your stomach, and yeah, you get to a point where like I feel like it happens so many times, and you're just like, I can't go there anymore. Like it's uncomfortable. Like I still drink, I'm not gonna lie. Like I would like to drink a lot less and maybe even be sober one day, because I think it'd be like a really good thing for me to do for like maybe like a year or longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have so many experiences like that, and you're just like, okay, it's time. Like I gotta, no more drinking for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking to what you're saying though too, it's like I'm also like, for me, I'm like, okay, sobriety is harm reduction. But I also, what I was saying about how like I can't sometimes relate to everybody who's sober is because I'm not entirely sober. Like
California sober.
Yeah, no, I'm California sober. Like I don't want to say I'll be California sober till I die, but I've always been a high functioning smoker. And so it's like, yeah, I'm not someone who's going to sit here and be like, yeah, sobriety. Like I'm not going to sit here and talk about how I'm like the perfect person, because I'm not. And I really probably have an addiction to weed, which is for episode.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that too, it's like, I never want to shame anyone to be like, oh, you shouldn't be drinking. Like, don't be doing it. I just think if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And you should just make those decisions for yourself.
I think like if it's significantly impacting you on a day-to-day basis, that's like kind of where the red flag is, right? And that's like a very much like what you said, like a harm reduction, like kind of approach. Like with weed, like you are high functioning. It's not significantly impacting you in a negative way. So therefore, it's kind of like the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing ever. Like maybe kind of bad, or like raise some red flags if it was impacting like your motivation and like the way you function and things like that.
And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do think to myself like, okay, quit, and then the thought of quitting is so impossible that I'm like, oh, that's an issue, right? But it's like sometimes you need something to lay the edge off, right? And for some people to, like you're saying, the lesser of evils, but for some people too, weed itself is harm reduction, right?
Absolutely.
But
yeah, I honestly like I said this actually in like my last episode that I filmed with Mike. I was like, oh, I used to love weed. I used to love it. And I kind of miss it because I do think that if I smoked, it would help me like drink a little less. But honestly, like one of the hardest things I've ever quit was vaping. I was such a vapor for the last couple of years, and it was so hard. And I remember even the thought, I got to that point too, where I was starting to vape a little bit, like when I was out, and then I'd start buying it. And vapes are kind of expensive too, right? Like it'd be like $45 for like a good vape. And I would like go through it in like a week or two. And I was literally vaping constantly, like every I want to say 5 to 10 minutes I was vaping. It was really bad. And I was getting chest pains. And that's when the red flags started to come up. I was like, okay, this isn't good. And I mean, like, I think some people can't, like, nicotine and vaping for some people is like harm reduction when it comes to like smoking, for instance, right?
Or
like
drinking.
It helps some. Or drinking.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I'll like vape a bit, or like maybe I'll vape and I won't take Adderall. Like, and I mean, like, I feel like it feels like the lesser of two evils for some people, but it got to that point with me where I was vaping so much, like I was having like serious like health issues, and like it was impacting like my mental health as well. And I was like, okay, this is how I know that this isn't good for me. Like there's no positives come this.
And that's a really good way to look at it too. It's like, okay, if you are doing something for harm reduction or like lesser of two evils, it's like, is there actually positives in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
vaping, smoking kills, vaping kills.
Vaping actually kills.
Yeah,
it
like, they
does.
both kill.
And people forget.
Yeah.
It was honestly, quitting that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I quit in May of 2025. And for literally, even still now, like, I still get cravings, which is crazy. Yeah. And it's been months. Like, I haven't touched nicotine in months and months, but it still kind of comes out for me.
Gosh.
I know. Poor me.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, before we finish off today, I'm curious. I'm, like, trying to think of any, like, funny, like, citizen stories we have that we could add to this.
The only thing that I was thinking of is is when you were like, wait, well, no, this isn't bad because we didn't do anything. When you were like, oh yeah, I used to love smoking, and I was like trying to go back in my memory, and I was like, oh yeah, Emily did smoke. And then I remember because you had this cute little baby bong that like I thought was the cutest thing, and then I went and like bought one. But also the funny story is like, do you remember when we went to Tyler the Creator's concert?
Oh, I
And then
remember
we
that.
went-
And we went when we were back.
Yeah, and then we went backstage.
We went backstage
because I was friends with one of his a mutual friend, and then we were smoking the blunt,
Right.
and that was probably one of like my like highlight memories of you because I've never really seen you smoke a blunt. Like I've seen you smoke joints, and I've seen you like smoke out of a bong, and then you were just smoking the blunt. And then the fact that we were just backstage at like a Tyler the Creator concert with like other people around, and you were just like, I gotta go.
I remember
I
I
was
was
like, what's
so
wrong?
high.
And you're like, I'm so high. And I was like, this is classic. Like
Classic me.
So classic.
And I remember I walked home, I think, from Scotiabank. Right? Was it Scotiabank?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, Scotiabank.
I didn't know you walked home though.
I
Because we
literally
did
walked
leave.
home.
We're like, okay, we gotta go. She doesn't feel good.
True. I think we all went. And okay, maybe we did all leave together. I thought I walked home for a portion of it or
Maybe,
something.
probably.
I forgot. Like I literally blacked out. That's how high I was.
Oh my God.
That was such a fun night though.
It was a fun night.
Yeah, I remember I was so embarrassed smoking, and like I think I like greened out or something. I
Yeah,
think it
and
was
then
like
there's me
green
being
out or like
like-
verge of a green out. You're just
There's
like this
hothead
girl.
friend being, I'm like, you can't even like that's impossible.
I think I
I'm like,
literally had like 2 puffs of this blunt, but it was like one of those blunts that had everything on it, like all the oil and
Yeah.
like I think it was like dipped in something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there for this time. I think I was with this other girl we used to work with, Tiffany, Citizen, and I remember I was in Kochek one time with her. I feel like you were maybe around,
Okay.
and someone literally like older white woman, like she like lost her Kochek ticket and couldn't find it. And with like Kochek, you can't give a coat back. If someone loses their ticket, like they have to wait till the end of the night or the next day, because it's just hard to say. Like people are drunk, it's so easy for them to be like, oh, that's my coat, but it's like actually someone else's. It's like a liability thing, right? And I remember Tiffany and I wouldn't give back this woman's coat. And she literally, like, remember that little, like, Kochek cubicle we're in? And she, like, literally lunged through. She, like, ran back a little bit and then ran up and, like, dived through the window. Were you there?
No, I wasn't. No, but
I think it was
wasn't
just
it-
us two. And she, like,
was-
literally dived through the window and, like, was, like, literally, like, choking
Wasn't it
Tiffany.
Savannah?
I think it was, like, maybe me, Tiffany, and Savannah in there. Yeah. And she's, like, choking, like literally on top of Tiffany.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, and we're all in Kochek together. I was like, that's so crazy.
Honestly, Kochek is a great time.
It was really
Besides
funny.
that time, I'm like, that's great.
I have a picture of me sleeping on all like the lost and found coats
Oh yeah.
one time, and I remember Will walked in. That was our manager. Probably gonna bleep that out, but like Will walked in, and he saw me laying on all those coats, and he screamed and he wrote me up. And he wrote me up another time because remember we used to write reservations, like we'd handwrite reservations.
Yes.
And I have a writing impediment, and he wrote me up because he said my handwriting was too messy. And he was like, if you do it one more time, you're fired. I was like, I have a writing impediment. You know how crazy he was? Do you remember that?
That was like the Citizen to me was like our when I think of The Citizen in my life, it was our era of The Office. Like that.
Yeah, it felt like The Office, like just all the characters there, and like it was just so unserious.
It was so unserious because I remember
you would come in high.
I mean, I'm always high, but I remember
I feel like extra high.
Yeah, I got fired because I had a show and I was singing. I was singing on stage.
Like,
I always wanted to be a singer, and I was like, oh, like I have this performance, like can I have work off? And I was like, I can get someone to take the shift, and our manager was just like, no. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not like coming, like I gotta like follow my dream,
right? And like
and then
you're literally off. You're like, someone can take
right,
my
and he was
shift.
just like okay, and then I think it was just like okay, and then the next day I went in, or not the next day because I had my performance, which went great, and then the next day I went in and it was just like, oh, come to the office. I was like, you're fired. I was like, for following my dreams. Like,
yeah, like I swear to God, they were out to get us.
They were. We were young and we were just trying to survive.
I did want to say thank you so much for your time today, Miss Ajaya, Miss Ajuki. As always, it's so nice catching up with you. I feel like I see you like once a year. Like maybe a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Here and there. It's funny because we live so close together. I absolutely love seeing you every single time I do. But if you guys do want to learn more about Ajaya, you can follow her at Ajuki on Instagram and see some of the amazing things she's doing. If you want to hear more from little old me, you can follow me on Spotify at Club Therapy and on Instagram at Club Therapy Pod. But yeah, can't wait to see you guys soon. Bye.